right, Devin. The only other news item we have in video games is Sony had a PlayStation State of Play today.
I always loved these.
Yeah, they're a little hit or miss. Sometimes they're a bunch of nothing. Sometimes they're okay. This one, they
I feel
said,
like you're hinting that this was a bunch of nothing.
oh, we'll see.
Oh, we will see.
Yeah.
I actually didn't watch this, so this is
Oh,
news to me as well.
okay, cool. Well, we're gonna just kind of quickly go through. If you could go back to the document just so I can see the highlights while we go through. There's quite a few things in here. It's 45 minutes long. So you have a lot of updates. Some things I'll just gloss over really quickly, like this. They had a new trailer for Monster Hunter Wilds. This took like the first 5 minutes. So they also said they're going to have a free update in the spring and summer. And with a new monster on each one, which makes sense for them to put new monsters in a game called Monster Hunter.
Yes, it does.
Next up, I thought this next one looked super awesome. I've never played a game in this series called Shinobi. This one is a 2D game called Shinobi Art of Vengeance, and it is out in August. And man, it looks pretty. I love that art style. Super cool. It looks like a kind of a 2D hack and slash ninja game. Kind of gives you like Ninja Gaiden kind of vibes and stuff like that. So again, I haven't played a Shinobi game. I know there were a lot of them back on whatever that was, the Super Nintendo or something. But love this cool art style. And 2D games are basically all I play anymore, it seems like. So
yeah, there's something simple and nice about a 2D game.
Yeah, it goes back to a younger time, and there were less worries. But in this game, there are a lot of ninjas. So
a lot of worries.
Next up was, I guess I'm controlling the mouse, so I've got to get to the spot here. We got Sonic Racing. I've played a couple of these in the past, actually, on the PlayStation 3. They're very fun.
Really? I've never played a Sonic Racing game.
Quite as good as like Mario Kart, but
what about Crash Team Racing? Are they as good as Crash?
I don't think so, but I think Crash Team Racing is probably
Are they better than Hot Wheels?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I think so. I really liked the couple I've played. My kids are really into Sonic right now as well, and so if this is good, I can imagine them playing this a bunch. So we'll see. Has a cool thing there where you go through Sonic's rings and they kind of like teleport you to a different area of track. Like that section of track was on a dinosaur's back. And so I think it's called Cross Worlds, where you're like hopping back and forth between worlds. And they've done this for like the last few games, but they have car sections, airplane sections, and boat sections. I think it's one of their differentiators a little bit. So I don't know. We'll see. They've got a pretty good track record. So I hope that one's great. That one's out on, doesn't say, but they have a network test on the 21st if you want to try it out, I guess. So that's just a Sonic Racing Crossworlds. Definitely one that I've got my eye on. All right, what was next here?
The best one that's on the list.
Oh, maybe. This one is, I couldn't tell exactly what kind of JRPG this was going to be from this intro segment here. But then somebody said in like a really crazy voice something about Digimon, I think. And I was like, oh, it's a Digimon game. And so this one is Digimon Storytime Stranger. Coming out this year in 2025. I've never played a Digimon video game, I don't think. But I did like it growing up. It was like the cooler, edgier older brother to Pokemon.
I told a friend that this week. I said, Digimon is cooler than Pokemon. Changed my mind, and he said, I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is. That's funny. Yeah, I do feel like they're kind of crazy. Like some of the Digimon just straight up have like missiles and cannons and guns on them. But it's kind of silly in that way. Do you remember that guy?
Same.
I don't remember any of their names though.
No, me neither.
Yeah, they're just a Digimon.
It's probably way dumber than Pokemon. I just wanted to like be cool.
Yeah, it might be, but you know, who knows? All right, next up was
Lost
Soul Aside. If I can get there, this guy talked for a second, and I can't remember. I do think this one looks pretty cool though. It's coming out on May 30th of 2025. Kind of gave me Final Fantasy 16 vibes a little bit. You got the big monsters. You got the guys and gals that are all like extremely thin and pretty. Um, you know, just like normal everyday life. You know, fight the dragon, look like $1,000,000.
That's what I do every day.
Yeah. So, anyways, I don't know a ton about this one, but that's Lost Soul aside. I think it's had a few trailers before this. If you want a longer look, there you go. I do like the landscapes they got there, though. Very cool sci-fi kind of vibe. You have this weird, like, sci-fi robot dragon companion with you, too. Again, I have no idea what's going on in that story, but there you go. That's Lost Soul aside. Then they showed a little segment from Yakuza Like a Dragon. Whoops, I went a little too far. And this one's actually Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, which has like pirate ship combat. I know some people have been pretty excited about that one. So just a new look at that. And then some of the characters from that game are going to be in Dave the Diver, which seems to get crossovers with so many games. Kind of funny, though. I want to get back to Dave the Diver, mostly because I want to try the Godzilla crossover that I have. But anyways, that's Like a Dragon. Next up, they showed a little bit of Split Gate 2, which is right about... Oh, no, I missed one. Did I not type this in here? I swear I did. I must have deleted it. Or no, I just jumped too far. Where are you, Splitgate?
Is this a WWE game?
The next one is, yeah. Here's Splitgate 2. It has a cool new mode, they said, that is 24 players with 3 different teams. So 3 8-player teams. Kind of cool. I always thought Splitgate was really awesome, mostly because I loved Halo multiplayer growing up. And it feels very much the same, just mixed with teleporting through portals. WWE 2K25 got a little trailer. They're adding a new, what would you call that? Like a new section to the game called the Island. And it's kind of similar to like the park in NBA 2K, where they have this online multiplayer like central hub where everyone can go to like show off their gear or to wrestle each other, play in some like tournaments. Just kind of like a way for them to sell you more microtransactions with clothes you want to show off to your buddies. But
I love it.
Yeah, kind of a funny vibe though. WWE 2K25. All right, Devin, next one is probably a big one for you, but unfortunately there's not a ton of news here. But they did show the 2 Randys from Gearbox here showed a new trailer for Borderlands 4. It does look cool. It's looks more violent than I remember the last ones being, or maybe the blood is just like a brighter red. I couldn't tell, but the last ones aren't not violent. Looks cool.
We're watching this in a pretty high resolution, which is nice, but from what I'm seeing, it looks like maybe graphical updates. The graphics looked pretty.
Yeah, they did.
In those few little scenes.
Yeah, I think it looks a bit sharper and better than Battlefield 3. Not Battlefield. Borderlands 3. They said 2 more things about it. Borderlands 4 is getting its own state of play later in the spring. So it'll get its own like 20-30 minute deep dive.
Awesome.
And it comes out September 23rd. So they gave a release date, which is probably a good date. It'll be safely probably out of Grand Theft Auto 6's way in September. So it's probably an okay date for them. Then there was a new trailer for Split Fiction, the next game from the company that made It Takes Two. I think this game looks fun. I've never finished It Takes Two, though. I've only played a very tiny bit. I do want to get back to it, though. I think my kids would like it. The story might be a little sad for them about divorcing parents, but but I don't know. I could maybe get past that hurdle. But yeah, I think Split Fiction looks cool. It comes out on March 6th. And I think it's $50, but it has that cool thing where if you buy a copy, you can your friend can play with you. Very cool. Almost no companies do that. Which is probably why they had to price it at $50. Because what if they price it at 25 or 30? And then both people had to buy it. They're probably less. This probably does better at $50. I would imagine.
I hope it has $50 worth of content and it's not like a 6 hour long game.
Yeah, It Takes Two wasn't super long, was it? Would you say
I feel
six
like
to eight?
I feel like I got some time in that game, but I can't remember how many hours that took.
Yeah, I don't know for sure. Next up is a cool one. This is from Supermassive Games, who does the Dark Pictures anthology. This is the next game in that series, and in very cool fashion, at least for me, it's in space. This is a sci-fi
I also like that.
horror game from them. It's called Directive 8020. Has some big actors, at least her I recognize, the main lady there. I feel like I recognized at least one or two of the others as well. This one comes out October 2nd, which they've kind of got that early October nailed down for their annual kind of releases here on this Dark Pictures anthology. So I hope this one's great. I don't know that I love how their games play.
I don't either, but I have enjoyed playing their games because of the genre.
Exactly. You are kind of like, I'll put up with this.
Yeah, it's like psychological horror, weird. But the thing for me that bothers me is I would have to play the game through 6 times or so to see every cutscene they've made for the game.
Exactly. They're even highlighting it here. Life and death takes many forms, and then they show like almost every character dying in a different way. And I'm like, I don't have the time to play it 7 times. You know?
No.
And usually to get like the platinum trophy, even you have to see most of the endings, and so it's even hard from like a trophy hunter's perspective to want to play through it that many times. I don't know. I don't know what the right solution is there, because I think that's cool in theory. Like, you can play our game 10 times and it's always slightly different because different characters will live. Like, yeah, but I don't want to watch it that many times.
Yeah, maybe not different enough for me.
Yeah, it'd have to be vastly different. So I don't know.
It looks cool though. I
look
really
cool.
like the aesthetic of that game compared to many of the other ones.
I agree. Okay, next up is a new game in the Five Nights at Freddy's series that seems to have an infinite number of games. This one's coming to PlayStation 5 and PlayStation VR 2. It's called Secrets of the Mimic on March 13th. I imagine that's a little scary, at least in VR. Maybe we should try that out.
We should, yeah.
I've never played a Five Nights at Freddy's, but it has spawned quite a few clones, like that Poppy's Playtime and other things that definitely got their ideas from this. And man, I feel like this game series has had way more legs than I thought it would, because most of these horror games that like kind of like had a little splash, I feel like they had their splash and then kind of go away. This one has had like 15 games. And my kids even come home sometimes and are like, Dad, can we play Five Nights at Freddy's? I'm like, where'd you even hear about this? I don't. And they're like, 6 and 8. So I don't even know how. It just seems to be more prevalent than I realized. But anyways, that's Five Nights at Freddy's. Secrets of the Mimic. Another trailer for a cool looking game that's made completely in, what do they call it? Clay stop motion? Clay art models? Wallace and Gromit kind of thing. This one is called The Midnight Walk, and it comes to PlayStation 5 and PSVR 2 on May 8th. I think we already knew those details, but they did have a new trailer here. And I like the vibe. I think you're like protecting this little candle dude, and he has like the only fire left in the world for some reason, and you're trying to help him like spread the fire and to bring light back to the world, and also avoid some creepy little monsters. Kind of looks Tim Burton-esque in my opinion. So I don't know. I hope this one's cool. I'm nervous with a VR game sometimes where like a game like this can play on both. I'm like, okay, if it can play on both, I feel like the VR experience, since you didn't like hyper focus on that,
won't be as good.
Won't be like as focused on that.
Yeah, I feel that.
But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll be able to pull it off. I think it looks cool. I like the vibe at least. Okay, next up, maybe David's game. Well, not David's game of the show because of a couple others, but this next one looks very cool. They said a new game from Konami. And we're like, okay, cool. What's it going to be? And it's called Darwin's Paradox. And you play as this cool little blue octopus. Excuse me, had to cough for a second. But I think you're just basically trying to escape this facility as this octopus, kind of like Finding Dory style. And you can camouflage and use your ink and other things, and you're trying to escape. It very much looks like Inside
Yeah.
mixed with playing as an octopus.
It looked cool the way the octopus moves.
Love it. So I'm very excited about that one. That one, did it have a date? Just this year. Next up were a couple games that I don't know a lot about. Warriors Abyss is a roguelite spin on the Warriors series, which I've never played. And then two Onimusha things. The Onimusha 2 remaster is coming out on May 23rd. And then they showed a new trailer for Onimusha Way of the Sword, which is a brand new game in this Onimusha series that comes out next year in 2026. You can definitely tell that one looks a little old, Onimusha 2. But the new one definitely looks better. But the faces the character makes, and like he likes to crack jokes and kind of make weird faces on the screen. It was kind of a little strange looking. Let's see your best then, eh? I don't know. Kind of a weird looking fella. Okay. Then there was a new trailer for the remake of Metal Gear Solid. I think it's 3. And they're calling this one Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. They also gave a release date for it. It's August 28th. This is a series I've always wanted to get into, but have never done for some reason. I think that it has really cool vibe, and the villains are like very out there and strange, and big boss, Snake or whatever. Looks really cool, but I don't know like anything about the series. Do you, Devin?
I don't know. I've always wondered, since I haven't dabbled in this, if it's way better than like Splinter Cell.
I think it's more campy and fictional. Like Splinter Cell's trying to be like realistic, where this is
okay.
What if a Navy SEAL was fighting against like really weird villains?
Like something from Resident Evil?
I feel like almost sometimes.
Okay.
Again, I don't fully know, but anyways, I would like to try this series out at some point. I think they just had the Metal Gear Solid Collection come out last year that has, I think, 1, 2, and 3 in it. They're like upscaled remasters of those games, and then this one is a full remake of 3, which I think technically is the first one chronologically, which is probably why they're doing that one first. But anyways, August 28th, that is a big game. There's also an Ape Escape reference in there for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe there was a Ape Escape monkey in Metal Gear Solid 3. I'm not sure.
They're both in that one game.
In
the platformer.
Astrobot?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, what was next? We had, this one is called Hell Is Us, and it looks very, very pretty. I think it's had a couple trailers as well, but it did get a release date. The release date is September 4th. A lot of games shooting for September or earlier. Again, just trying to stay out of GTA's way. I thought this was Death Stranding 2, which I'm pretty sure I said the first time I saw a trailer for this game, because similar kind of coat he's wearing with a robot floating up there. But it's not. This one's called Hell Is Us. I don't even know if I remember seeing any combat or gameplay in here. Oh, there we go. There was a sword. So maybe it looks like Death Stranding, but plays a little bit like a God of War or a Souls-like in a way. I love the sci-fi creepy vibe, though. So, Hell Is Us, September 4th. Devin, next one is probably going to be your game of the show.
Ooh, yes, it might be.
NeoWiz finally showed their upcoming expansion to Lies of P. This expansion is called Overture, and it's coming out this summer. I think summer usually means like June to August, somewhere in there-ish. So you got to wait a little bit, but maybe the game will come on sale, a significant sale by that point, so I can buy it on PlayStation, because I think you played it on the Game Pass or something. So I don't think.
Oh, right, yes. So you've never actually played this?
I've only played it on my Rogue Ally and probably got like 5 bosses in or so. But
It's fantastic.
yeah, and I thought this expansion trailer looked pretty cool. Again, it's very campy. He's about to shoot like this giant shark thing, but cool vibe. I know you really loved it.
I did, yeah. I was surprised a different game maker could do this type of game even close to as good as like FromSoft, but they killed it.
Yeah, very excited about that one. I hope they. I imagine they're all just working on that, and their sequel's probably quite a ways off. But kind of wish that they had just gone with number two. But I don't know. Next up was a game from Pixel Junk, which is kind of crazy. I don't think they've made one in a while. They did Pixel Junk Shooter, Pixel Junk Monsters, and I think a few other ones. This one is very weird. It is called Dreams of Another. And in this game, you're destroying chaos in order to spawn like organized life, is I think like kind of the vibe. So he has a gun at this point, and he's shooting these like chaos orbs in the air, and it kind of turns them into more organized structure. You're not always shooting the gun, I don't think. It shows it in quite a few different scenarios here, but very unique, at least vibe and art style in this one. No creation without destruction. It's kind of the vibe. So, anyways, you can check more out about that. That one's coming out this year. Next up is one I was very surprised about because this game already plays at 4K 60 if you play the PlayStation 4 version. But this is, if I can get there, Days Gone. It's getting a remastered PlayStation 5 version. It does have some new content, which is kind of cool. It has a speedrun mode, a permadeath mode, and a mode they're calling Horde Assault that I think just throws like more and larger hordes at you, which the hordes in that game do seem very cool. I've yet to play it though. I know that our cousin enjoyed it quite a bit. So, kind of cool, I guess, if you haven't played it. If you do have the PlayStation 4 version, you can upgrade for $10, which I'm glad they do that. But it does seem like, did we need that? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they're lucky they added extra content and game modes because if it was just an upgrade from 4K 60 to 4K 120, most people aren't benefiting from that.
Right. Exactly. Again, because if you have a PlayStation 5 and play the PlayStation 4 version, you're already getting 4K 60. So it's kind of crazy. Luckily, we missed most of this, but Stellar Blade's getting some DLC in June, so there you go. And then they announced the PlayStation Plus catalog games that we already talked about earlier. So I'm going to skip those, other than two. They mentioned two games that are going to be coming to the catalog on day one. The first one called Blueprints. And I think it is this one. Yeah. I think so. Or is this the other? Yeah, this is Blueprints. And it's coming to the catalog in spring 2025. There's like all these rooms in this mansion, and it's kind of a puzzle game. And then this other one in the summer is a 6-player crafting survival game called Abiotic Factor. And I already said 6-player, so it's meant for multiplayer, kind of. I kind of like survival games in co-op. Can kind of be fun, Risk of Rain and stuff like that is enjoyable. So maybe that'll be a good one. We'll see. Okay, just a few more things here. These next three, I don't know much about, but they have new trailers. The first one is called Tides of Annihilation. And it looks very pretty. I believe this developer, Eclipse Glow, is in China. So this is part of Sony's China project. Or what do they call it? China Hero Project, I think. The game looks very pretty.
Truly.
With some odd imagery. This is like a big Leviathan with a city on top of it coming out of the
water. Did you see how good that water looked?
It looked crazy.
Holy.
Yeah, it looks very, very pretty. I can't tell what kind of game it is fully, but there are parts where you like climb in. I think in the press release they mentioned that like you have to scale like some of these giant creatures vertically, which is a cool thing, Shadow of the Colossus, but that way bigger. And then here it does have some like action combat. Kind of looks like Devil May Cry or something fast. So I like the aesthetic. Very odd, but looks cool. Kind of does give me like a Wukong vibes. Just, I mean, not a ton, but a little bit. Not really. There's no monkeys. I don't know. That's Tides of Annihilation. That one didn't even have a year, I don't believe. But it does have a cool trailer. Okay, and then next up is one called Metal Eden. And I think this is it here. It comes out on May 6th. So it's pretty imminent, to be honest. And it's a fast-paced first-person shooter. If they first started pulling it up, I was like, is this Marathon? Because it looked so like sci-fi kind of pretty, kind of like Bungie's first Marathon trailer did, but it's not. It's called Metal Eden. And really, I don't know much else about it, but at least the gameplay there kind of looks like Doom or something in a way. But I like the sci-fi vibe. Don't really have much else to say about it, though. May 6th, if you're interested in that one. And then next up, second to last, is a game called Mind's Eye. And I think that a producer from the Grand Theft Auto series left and joined this team and is making this game. I think the main actor, or maybe even a few of the characters you see here, are like actors in TV and movies as well, which does seem to be more common nowadays. But looks pretty cool. The motion capture and graphics look very good. But again, I don't know really a ton else about it. They do show like some gunplay, some like cover-based gunplay where you're hiding behind like a pillar or like a cement pavilion kind of thing. And then they show some driving, which definitely made it kind of feel like it's got Grand Theft Auto vibes, but I don't know if it's fully open world or whatnot. But anyways, that is Mind's Eye, and it says summer of 2025. Again, cool vibe. Got those iRobot dudes just kind of following you, which would be creepy. So, anyways, that's Mind's Eye. Then last up, game of the show for David. We start on the PlayStation Studios logo. I'm like, oh boy, they got a stinger for the end. How exciting. And I wasn't sure what it was going to be. And I'm slow to get there, but there is this sci-fi looking planet. A dude wakes up there, and then the sun slowly starts to collapse. You're like, oh no, that's not good. And then this big demon looking thing comes out of the water. It has more arms than it's supposed to. Stands up really tall. Looking like, oh crap, I'm going to have to fight this thing. Luckily, I've got a gun right here. And then the camera zooms in really close on his eyeball. And you see the bullet hell. And I love that so much. This is a game called SAROS, I think is how it's pronounced. And it's the next game from Housemarque as kind of a semi-sequel to Returnal.
Wow.
Comes out next year in 2026. I wish it was this year, but tis not. The guy that does that is that character, I think, is in Midnight Mass. Is the sheriff. I think, if I'm getting my actors correct. But anyways, that was a pretty quick run through, Devin, of the state of play there. But I think for me, game of the show there is SAROS, or there were a couple more I thought looked cool, like the Shinobi, like ninja 2D game that looked very cool. And then Darwin's Paradox with the octopus. So those are probably mine. Any that stood out to you, Devin?
Digimon.
Devin's going
No.
back to
No. Borderlands 4.
Yeah.
Five Nights at Freddy's has always intrigued me. Also, I'm in the same boat with you with Metal Gear Solid. I would like to dabble a little bit.
Yeah. Cool. I wish that 1 and 2 also had those remakes done. Because that third remake looks really nice.
Yeah, it'd be hard for me not to just start on the remake and pretend like I know
think that's what
games.
they want you to do.
That's perfect.
Because
that's
it's
what I'll do.
Chronologically first, I think. But
yeah, Liza P.
Oh, yeah.
Stellar Blade was fun, but come on.
Come on is the right.
And then SAROS. Is that what you called it?
I think so.
SAROS.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. Well, that is it for video game news this week. Devin, thanks for watching State of Play with me.